Hello, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gents. Welcome back to High Top Sports Game Day. This show is, of course, brought to you by BetUS. Another week, another great slate of football games. And Jason just made a good point. Could we see a three-peat of number one going down 3 weeks in a row? He thinks so. Is he biased? I think so. We got a jam-packed show. We got Derek the Duck Zelmer back at us all the way from the constant. He's got daylight there, boys and girls. How we feeling today about how we feeling, big guy? How we feel about the big matchup against the Bucks?
I'm jacked up today, man. This is the one matchup we've been waiting for all year, and it's finally here. So I couldn't be more ramped up and ready to go.
I love it. It's going to be a great one. We're going to talk about it. Everybody's picking the Bucks, not the Ducks. We'll get into that here in just a few moments. But we got, of course, Boomer Sooner on the road once again. Jason.
What's up, baby?
Hook him. I can't wait to get all feisty with Jason there. Quick little fun fact. Jason's been to one game this year, and Oklahoma is 0-1. He's going to his second game. Hopefully the trend continues.
Hold on. They didn't have the right quarterback in for that first one until the second half. It's a little too late. But they're not going to lose with this kid. We're in good shape.
This is what I must sound like when I say Gators by a million. Just complete delusion. I love it. Let's go to our next guest, Cowboy Ty, representing the enemy, the Tennessee Vols. I can't believe it. I asked Ty, I go, hey, who do you want to represent this week? He goes, give me Tennessee. I go, okay, whatever, dude.
I mean, there could be some unfactual things in there. However, I'm always down for that. Put my best Kenny Powers, hide my eyes, don't want anybody to see me. Might have had a few drinks last night. I don't know. We'll find out.
I love it. He's feeling a little rowdy. Boys and girls, good to see you. Happy Saturday again. Be sure to smash the like button and subscribe. Gator Gang for Life's the show. Did you end that abusive relationship? My abusive relationship was with Billy Napier, okay? Because they make fun of me because no matter how many times he beats me, I will still continue to crawl back to him. As long as that man gives me W's, I don't care how many black guys I have, boys and girls, I will continue to show up. Win for me today, Billy, and I'll be back on. Maybe not quite, but we'll see. Anyways, let's get into game number one. We got Derek the Duck representing the Duck versus the Buck. The game that everybody's been talking about, the big matchup out west. I don't know if it's what everyone's talking about. You got River Rivalry that's really taking a lot of attention away. But we even said, I go, this game is a 2 versus 3. How is it not the most electric game of the weekend? But it's jam-packed. LSU, Ole Miss, River Rivalry. Tennessee, Florida's always a great one. But we're talking about the Ducks today. Everyone's got the Bucks. How you feeling, big guy?
You know, I said it before the show, and I'll echo it again. I hope they all pick the Ducks. You know, when the game day cast comes across the screen, I want to see nothing but red on the bottom. I'm living for it. You know, Dan, he's the type of coach where he's going to convince these dudes they are the true underdog, and they're going to come out playing like it. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of these things where I love the national attention. I hope they all continue to pick Ohio State, and I can't wait to see their faces, you know, once the clock strikes 0 and they're down by 5 at the end of the game. So I'm ready to rock today, man. I'm feeling pretty good.
I love me some Ducks. We know this. I watched that video that you shared this morning, and he talked with the redwood tree, the vines creeping in, coming together. That's how you make us strong. I was fired up. I'm ready to run through a wall. I was like, how do you not want to win for this guy? Here's two things that Dan Lanning and Ryan Day have in common. They haven't been able to get over the hump. They haven't been able to win the big one. So in a weird way, we're going to figure out which guy has the kahunas to get it done. I would argue that Ryan Day's had more opportunities to get it done and has not. Okay? The Duck and Dan, I don't count the Georgia-Clemson, that Georgia game, the first game of the year. We'll pass that. But he's fallen short to the USC's and to, obviously, his daddy, Kyle Whittingham. But I think things change today for the Ducks. I am full-blown onto the Duck train. You know that. Big-time matchup. Who is your breakout star, your X-Factor player for today? A lot of talent on this Oregon team, but who do you got for us?
Yeah. Fun fact, let me interject right quick. We have never lost to Kyle Whittingham nor a Lincoln Riley team with Dan Lanning at the helm. So don't even put that shit out into the air. I don't want to hear that shit. Get your facts straight if you're going to come on here talking all this smack. All right? I'm going to need you to get it together on this fine Saturday morning.
Oh, it was Washington. It was Washington that owned you last year.
Okay,
sorry.
We don't need to
sorry.
talk about them, though.
Sorry.
That doesn't matter. That's
sorry.
beside the conversation.
We're not playing Washington today. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, but my breakout player for the day, it's somebody that, a lot of Duck fans, they've been waiting to see kind of have that breakout performance all year. And I think today is kind of that most opportune situation for it to happen in Evan Stewart. As you know, if you've watched Oregon games, the focal point of that offense and the passing attack is most definitely Tez Johnson, for a great reason. But I think Evan Stewart's kind of the guy who shines under the radar still, even given what given his skill set that he does have. He hasn't quite had that big breakout performance today. But I think today might be the day that kind of snaps. So I think if the Ducks are going to win this game, we're going to need to see a big performance out of him. Obviously, the run games are really important. We talked about that earlier in our show this week. But I think if the Ducks are going to take it over the top and be able to be in control of this game, I think Evan Stewart's going to have to play a massive part in that game today.
What are your thoughts on the little bit of flack? A lot of people are saying, I don't trust Dillon Gabriel. That's been kind of the consensus, I would say, of why the Ducks are not going to take down Ohio State. Although everyone's just, I guess, in full support of Will Howard, the guy that lost his job to a freshman in Avery Johnson. We forget about that. And Ryan Day, again, can't beat anybody outside of the weak part of the Big Ten. But Dillon Gabriel, who had much success at Oklahoma, I thought has looked solid. I mean, he's right at the cusp of a Heisman conversation, and this is going to be the game that really sets that campaign on fire if he wants to be in that conversation come late November heading to New York. Are you concerned about Dillon Gabriel, or are they just crazy?
Honestly, it's like it's one of those things where I see both sides of it because, you take a look at last week's performance and he has 2 deep red zone turnovers, and if that happens this week against Ohio State, let's be real, we're not going to win this game. It just, you can't have those type of mistakes against this quality of an opponent. So it's one of those things where, like, I'm sitting back just like the rest of the country, just kind of waiting to see exactly who Dillon Gabriel is in this particular offense here. I think he has the tools, and that man has absolutely flashed at times this year, but he hasn't quite had a complete game per se where, he's been able to make the proper reads and, just look comfortable navigating the pocket. It's going to be a tough ask for it to happen today against this Ohio State defense, who I believe is number 1 in the country as we speak right now. But at the same time, it's going to be, it's going to be a great opportunity to see who exactly not only Dillon Gabriel is, but this entire Oregon Ducks team as a whole. So, I think we're going to learn a lot today. Obviously, there's a lot of season to be left to play, and I think there's going to be a lot of growth that happens on both sides of the ball. But it's going to be a great litmus test today to see exactly who we are.
Question of the day from Gator Gang for Life says, which of your 300 UD combos are you wearing today?
Yeah, that's valid. They're going to blackouts today. One of the 15 we've had. So, to say what you will, you think it's cool too. All right, they can say what they want.
I love it. I didn't ask the question. Don't yell at me.
Hey, I'm just here to answer the question, man. I'm just spitting the facts. That's all I do.
I love it. Derek is such a good sport. Look, man. Hey, Ducks got it today. I'm feeling pretty good about them. Against the Bucks. I hate Ohio State with every fiber in my body. So it's when it comes like this, I don't know who I hate more, Oklahoma, is it Ohio State? I mean, the list goes on of just hatred for these people. But Ohio State's definitely up there at the top of the list. So I like the Ducks. We'll see how they do. But again, that Ohio State team is extremely talented. I would say probably the most talented team in the country on paper. On paper, you look at the stat match, 247 breakdown. I believe they were number 1 this year. And even Urban said this is the most talented Ohio State team that he's seen. The checks have cleared. They're dialed in. They're ready to rock and roll. But so are the Ducks. And I promise you that stadium is going to be absolutely bonkers today. Derek, we appreciate you. Don't go anywhere. We will see you at the end of the show. You can sit back. Okay, I know you're yawning. Take a little nap. We'll see you at the end there. Next up, we have the Red River Rivalry. Now, as much as I to hate on Oklahoma and call them little bro, Jason always likes to remind us of the history of this rivalry, which Oklahoma in the past decade has owned by a long shot. Jason, driving there to the game as we speak, not going 90 down the highway. I appreciate you pulling over for the show. Sooners versus Texas.
Yeah,
Is it late night shootout? Late night game, right?
2:30, man. No, man.
Oh.
You can't do the state fair. You can't do the state fair at night. It's a little sketchy over there. Little sketchy.
Okay. I'm glad. There's plenty of late games, so I'm glad that it's 3:30 because we're on normal time over here. But Oklahoma, Texas, I will say I think the 15-point, 14-point spread is disrespectful. As much as I hate Oklahoma, completely disrespectful in a rivalry game. I took Oklahoma to cover in the pick'ems. I think 14's the number. I think they could win by 2 touchdowns. 15 was the spread when we first did it. I know you don't like that, but I give you a little bit of bone. Go ahead, talk to me about this game and how you're feeling.
Well, the first thing I'm feeling is that all the pressure's on Texas. All the pressure's on Texas. They're number one. Everybody loves them. Everybody's saying that they're going to blow Oklahoma out. I mean, why even show up? Why even show up, Shelton? They shouldn't even go. They should just stay on in Norman and just not play the game.
I was wondering where you were going.
The only problem with that is, the only problem with that is that in the last 25 years, Oklahoma's won 17 Red River shootouts.
There it
17. So they own these guys. Even in times that you're supposed, and there's no way that this Texas team is better than the one from last year. There's just no way. They've got 11 guys they sent to the draft. They're not as good on the defensive line. I know that their numbers say this, but sometimes numbers do lie because they have played nobody with a pulse. How long did it take Florida to blow out Mississippi State? Not long. It took them until 5 minutes left of the third quarter to get a 2-touchdown lead.
Point for Jason.
At home.
Point for Jason at the end of the ring.
Look,
Okay.
Bottom line is, with Michael Hawkins playing the way that he's going to play, he hasn't even put the ball into jeopardy. He's dynamic. He can run. He can throw. He's the type of guy that's not going to get you in trouble, and they're going to have a hard time running the football on this Oklahoma defense. And if you can't run the football in this game, you're going to end up losing because it's always the team that wins the rushing battle first, and number two, who wins the turnover battle. Oklahoma's 11-0 when they win the turnover battle. They turned over Quinn Ewers 3 times in that game last year. And, Quinn coming back after a month off, he's not going to be rusty? We just expecting him to be perfect?
I mean, it is Quinn Ewers. The guy doesn't miss. I look. That's why I love Jason. The guy stands on that hill and he will die on that hill. Kind of like myself with the Florida Gators. I mean, probably hot take of the day to say that this Texas team is worse than last year's Texas team. You make up some valid points. A lot of guys went to the NFL.
Yeah, 11 guys went to the NFL, and let's just look at it this way. The defense at Oklahoma is definitely better than it was a year ago. They couldn't even get a yard on that defense a year ago to get into the end zone on 4 plays. Goal line stand, kept them out of the thing. They don't have the same team that they did. Obviously, Oklahoma has to pick it up on offense, and you have to make sure that you do what you need to do today. I like their chances to do it, especially without any pressure. They can go in there, let it all hang out, and know that Texas, Oklahoma only fears God. Texas fears Oklahoma. That's the facts.
I love it. Quinn being out for a couple of weeks could play a factor. I agree with that. This Texas team, I feel, looks a lot smoother, more of an operational system than last year. This Oklahoma team, you could argue as defensively they are better. I think offensively they've taken a step back by losing Dylan Gabriel, but you probably would argue that Michael Hawkins has given you the opportunity to get closer. I just don't think you're there yet. No disrespect. I think you're working your way up. Tell me, though, who your breakout player is, and I think it's going to coincide with what you just stated, that this defense is better than last year.
Yeah, R. Mason Thomas, man. He's leading the SEC in sacks right now. He's out there killing it at the right times of the game, too. He had 3 sacks in the Tulane game. He had 2.5 sacks last 2 weeks ago at Auburn, and in important times, too. This is a guy that Oklahoma's been waiting on for a couple of years because he's had a lot of injury issues. Ever since he got back, he's showing everybody why it is that OU fans couldn't wait to get him into the fold because, look, they've already almost equaled their entire sack output from a year ago. They've already almost equaled it in 5 games. So, look, defensively, they will stop the run. They stopped the best rushing attack in the last 2 years from Tennessee, and they didn't get much out of them. 150 yards, they were averaging 330 coming in. So, that's what they're going to do. You're not going to – if you get one-dimensional, that's when Brent Venables starts sending them from everywhere to go and get a guy like Quinn. And, look, those oblique injury types, that's a core injury. It's pretty easy to re-aggravate something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if you ended up seeing some Arch Manning, although I don't know that that's what they want at Texas either.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. This confidence is just spewing out of Jason. I love it. I mean, I think there's delusion and there's confidence, and you're right in the sweet spot, and I'm enjoying every minute of it here. Look, Texas right now, we got an interesting kind of rundown today because we've got 1, 2, and 3 all playing today in high-octane games. 1 playing 14 in Oklahoma, and 2 and 3 playing each other. We very likely could have a new number 1 come this week. So it's going to be a showdown. It's going to be an absolute blast. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Give me your score predictions. Sooners versus the Texas Hook'em. Let me hear you.
27-17, good guys.
Texas is going to win by 10. All right, good stuff. Jason, don't go
Oklahoma by 10. Oklahoma by 10.
Don't go anywhere, my man. We will be back here in just a few moments. Boys and girls, ladies, just be sure to smash the like button. Let YouTube know that, hey, you enjoy the show. Maybe just even a little bit. Takes 2 seconds. Go boop, boop. Let us know how you're doing. Drop a comment down in the live chat, how you're feeling about the games. Everybody's talking a little bit smack. I love it. Of course, this show is brought to you by BetUS. And Ty used to be a part of this segment, and I've crossed him out. I may have to start to go backwards because I haven't done any better. I've missed it by 1 the last 2 weeks. I've been in shambles because of my misses.
Not as easy as it looks, is it?
Hey. Get out of here. In the green room. Are you? How did you get in my head? All right, we got the 3-week parlay here brought to you by BetUS. When you go to betus.com, use the code YouTube150. You get back 150% on your first deposit, then 125% on your next 2 deposits, up to $2,000. What are we doing? Go check it out. Smash the code. Here's what we're working with. I really went down and dirty on this one. This week I was a little sketchy, okay? There were some tough ones. First one I'm going to go over here. I don't see Georgia putting up 34 on Mississippi. Excuse me. I see them putting up 34, but I think Mississippi State at least pokes in a field goal or maybe a touchdown. They haven't covered all year, and the spread keeps getting bigger for Georgia. I don't get it. They were favored by 24 against Auburn, favored by 34 against Mississippi State, favored by 24 against Kentucky. Just stop it. They're not going to cover, okay? This is a sure lock, the easiest one of the entire parlay. The other one here, the Cocks, they let me down last week. It's never good when a cock lets you down, okay? Pause. Now, Alabama coming off a massive loss against Vandy. We're going to talk about that later in the game. We've got Kalen DeBoer changing outfits. It's mayhem right now. Having the Cocks as underdogs by 23, I know the offensive has been a little bit of wobbly. I like the Cocks to cover by 23.5. I don't feel confident with it. It's probably my least confident one, honestly. But 23 just seems crazy with what's been going on. I think the Cocks can hold on with their defense. Iowa State, West Virginia, it's a 3-point spread. Give me the money line. That 3-point is just, it's too finicky. West Virginia is slowly creeping up. Iowa State's undefeated right now. They've been handling their business. But West Virginia, a team that was heavily favored to win, favored Dark Knight to favor the Big 12. Slow start. Starting to find a little bit of a rhythm, and I think that's why this game is so close. So I like money line there. There's your 3-week parlay. If I fail this week, maybe Ty will earn a rep back into his slot. We can remove the X and bring him back in. Speaking of Ty, go to betus.com, use code YouTube150 and smash the like button. Speaking of Ty, let's get on into it. What's up, cowboy?
Oh, just living a dream, boys. Living the dream.
Living the dream.
You make me get on here and represent Tennessee. I have to hide my face in case I go to Gainesville and people see me. I just can't. I got to hide. I don't know way.
I love it. Godspeed, my boy. What's going on, big dog? We got this big game, this big-time matchup. 15-point underdogs the Gators are against Tennessee Vols. Going into a hostile environment. I think 7 p.m. kickoff, I believe, is the time slot for this one. Talk to me about this game. Tennessee coming off a massive loss to Arkansas last week, one of just the many of upsets that happened. How do you see them bouncing back this weekend against this monstrous Gators football team?
Yeah, I mean, when I sit there and I look at Tennessee, I once again, I always think they were an overrated football team, and I still think they're an overrated football team. In all truthfulness, I don't think they're that phenomenal as the number 4 team in the country as they were. I mean, they had run up scores against really bad teams. And when they played someone who was half had a pulse, they all of a sudden don't look like they can play offense. I mean, against Oklahoma, their offense wasn't great at all. I mean, Dylan Sampson's the only guy on that team that was doing anything. And then you go, they play Arkansas, and their defense played well. I would say their defense played well, but their offense, once again, did not do anything that was remotely close throwing the football, but Dylan Sampson was trying to save them as usual.
Agreed. And this is where, look, as a Gator fan, obviously I'm going to be a little bit biased here, but this team, it reminds me, it has glimpses of the team last year with Milton. Solid defense, right? One of the best defensive players in the country coming off the edge, but Offensively, Milton couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, and that caused them to struggle. They were able to run the ball effectively, but when you shut those things down and you allow Milton to throw, the guy couldn't throw to anyone else but the opposing team. And Florida was able to take advantage of that, get a W. They also played that game in the swamp, which was a huge advantage. Going on the road, Tennessee's going to have that momentum, be able to carry on to that. Having Nico, just being as young as he is, that's a huge opportunity, I feel, for Florida. And a good point. Look, these yards here, you see yards per game, total yards, is very skewed because the last 2 games have been basically non-existent in production on the football field. Let's talk about, though, you have 2 breakout X-Factor guys heading into this game tonight. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, I've already discussed one, and it was Sampson, and he has to go for that Tennessee offense to go because they can't just drop back and throw the ball. I mean, Squirrel White's good on the outside, and Brew McCoy, but like, I don't think they're built that way. I don't think the Hypo offense is built that way. I think that they have to run the football, and I think Dylan Sampson is going to have to be the guy. I think he's already got 12 touchdowns this year. He's got like 90 carries. I mean, he is the workhorse for that football team. Now, on the other side of the ball, we've been waiting for this guy to pop. And I will say last week, he started to show the person that I thought he was at the beginning of the year, one of the best defensive ends in the country. He was disrupting Arkansas last week. I think he ended up getting his first solo sack last week. But he's been disrupting, but he hasn't been putting up the statistics. Now, on the national TV and the national spotlight, he plays a big-time game against Florida, which may not look like a big-time game on paper, but we know that those two, they go at each other, and it's always a close game. I personally think that the spread is kind of disrespectful to Florida because I don't think Tennessee's really played anybody to where you can say, oh, yeah, they're 14 points better. And if Florida can defend the run like they did against R.J. Harvey last week, I expect this game to be very, very, very close. And I love Florida in the spread today. I really do.
Tyler's just trying to win over the people, which I appreciate greatly. But yes, this team, in my eyes, has similar comparisons to that UCF team, a heavy run team once they get the ball on the ground. But the quarterback play, I think, has the potential to be better than what KJ Jefferson brings to the table. KJ Jefferson just holds the ball. Okay, he's just a manager of football, hands it off, runs with it when need be. Not a true quarterback. But I think Nico's a phenomenal young player. Again, the pro for Florida is that he is young and will make mistakes and make errors, and Florida needs to be able to take advantage of that. Big test for Napier and the boys today. As we all know, and every week until he kind of finds a little bit of rhythm, job will be on the line. Can he handle a big Mo, right? 2 in a row? Can he handle playing on the road? All these things will be answered today. We'll find out a lot about this Florida team, and I would say a lot about this Tennessee team. So it's going to be a big shakeup for the SEC. Again, Florida has 1 loss in the SEC. Tennessee has 1 loss in the SEC. Almost everybody has 1 loss in the SEC, I believe, except Texas. So there's a big 19-way tie for first place right now. We're going to have this thing shaken up real good today with a couple of these big games that we've got going on. So good stuff. Score prediction for today's game, Ty.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close. I'm going to give it 27-20 kind of game today. I do think Tennessee wins, but I don't
Okay,
think
you're a piece of shit. All right, let's go ahead and roll into the last part of the game. Oh, here we go. Look at these 3 stooges. I love it. Good to see you, gents. Let me mute you real quick, Jason, get a little reverb. For this part of the show, how it works, if you guys are brand spanking new, I ask 3 heart-throbbing questions that make you guys think really, really hard. The best answers, the one that are most suited for me, the one that makes me get most fired up, gets the most points. Winner gets $1,000. Just kidding, but it sounded good. It's gonna be good. I got some fun ones today. These are hard. I feel like it was kind of quiet, right? We didn't have much sexiness going on to create a good little storyline, but that's what I do here. I make shit up, and we'll figure this thing out. Jason, you're going to be first. So I'm going to read the question, then I'll unmute you. You get 45 seconds to give me your best answers, and then we go from there. I know you guys don't have any questions. You've done this plenty of times, so I'm not going to say if you guys have any questions. Also, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe. First order of business, ladies and gents. Out of these 4 undefeated teams, yeah, I know. What? These 4? Penn State, Pittsburgh, yeah, they're undefeated. BYU 5-0, and Iowa State undefeated. 2 of those teams are in the Big 12. Fun stuff. One's in the ACC, finally getting a little bit of respect in Pitt. Which one of these, though, is the most for real over the others? Jason?
Iowa State. That's pretty easy. They've got probably the best tandem of wide receivers in the Big 12. Not to mention they've been really playing great defense ever since they got there. So this is the best team without a doubt. I love Rocco Beck. He was able to go out there and really put together a good freshman season, and that was coming after the whole gambling problem that was going on out in Iowa between both teams, Iowa and Iowa State. They ended up with a guy that is really showed that he could get it done. They've got the best wide receiver tandem, and they play amazing defense. They win this thing. It looks like going away, and I was expecting K-State, but it looks like Iowa State instead.
I love it. How about ASU taking down Utah State last night? Woo!
Utah, not even Utah State.
Excuse me, Utah.
It was crazy.
Utah.
Well, Utah State lost too, so.
Yeah. But Utah,
that's
Kyle
not
Whittingham,
exactly the
not
same
so
thing.
much the daddy anymore, Derek.
No, he's not, bro. He's looking up to Daddy Dan again.
I love it. Derek, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm going to echo that. I think it's Iowa State too, and I think for a couple of reasons. I think they have one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. Like you mentioned, I do think their wide receiver tandem, it is the best in the Big 12, and I don't even necessarily think it's necessarily close. And what I'm really leaning on is the defense, though. I think their defense is very sound. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They cause the turnovers. They do everything right. And to be real honest, the other thing that I kind of got going for it is the fact that they're playing in the Big 12. Their schedule is extremely favorable. Sheldon, get that look off your goddamn face. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Their schedule is extremely favorable. Man, I'm taking flack out here. My 45 seconds is over.
Look at that. He did. He just kept repeating what you were saying, Jason. I love it. Your time's up.
Man? This man's sound in his argument. I can't switch it up. It's like, I got to concede the points, man. I respect it.
I love it. When you said the best wide receiver, I mean, I know you hate Colorado, but you got to learn to give respect.
No.
Jimmy Horn, Travis Hunter, LaJohntay Wester, come on.
They get no respect. You will find no respect in this little bubble right here for Colorado. It ain't gonna happen, buddy. You could ask me who's the best team in Colorado, and I'm gonna not scream till I'm blue in the face that it's Colorado State. So we might as well just keep this one rolling.
Hold on, Jason.
So never mind that they beat them.
Right, exactly. That's irrelevant at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, yeah, you just mute yourself, Jason, and then when you're ready to talk. That way there isn't, I'm not muting you if there's any. Cool. All right, we got a quick little super chat here. D, $5. Shout me out, bro. Happy birthday today. Big 30. Gator victory on the way. Well, D, happy birthday. Old 30. Life comes at you fast. Okay, from here on, it just sucks. All right, just letting you know right now. All right, Cowboy Ty. Almost forgot about you.
I'm going to disagree with both these guys. I'm going to go the Pitt Panthers. And the reason I'm going to take the Pitt Panthers is because of a guy, and his name is Eli Holstein. He's a transfer from Alabama. The kid can flat out play. And between him and Desmond Reed, that offense has been absolutely rolling. I love every part about the Pitt Panthers. Their defense might be a little skeptical, but between these teams, the Pitt Panthers are going to play in the ACC. I think they've got a chance to take the ACC, maybe. Let's go, Pitt Panthers.
Woo! I love you taking a little flack at the ACC conference. Hey, you always going to point me shit on that shitty conference. I'm loving
I know how you roll, baby.
Yeah, baby. Let's go. Smash the like button, boys, for that one there. Let's get fired up. All right, question number 2, Derek the Duck. Starting with you, so you no need to copy anybody. You can be your own person here, okay, buddy? So let's see if you can bounce back and be yourself here. First question. Okay, with the new arrangement here, we get rid of national letter of intent. We now basically have we made a joke, but they literally titled it financial aid day, where you will be signing the contract, which will be basically allowed by everyone to see. We've been hearing about this $20 million salary cap that will be putting in place. My question for everybody, though, who does this help more? Does it make the rich richer? Is it going to separate these Power 4 conferences? Or is it going to squeeze this gap even closer with all the Power 4s and really level this playing field? We're starting to see it a little bit, but could this make this even tighter, or is it going to expand things even more? Derek?
Yeah, I'm gonna go out and say it's gonna make things a little bit tighter. I think what it's really gonna do, it's gonna benefit the programs like the Nebraskas. Some of these teams who are are known for being blue blood programs, but have necessarily fallen off in the last couple 20 years or whatever the case is. I think these programs are gonna continue to funnel in the talent. I think as that gap kind of gets a little bit closer, I think we're gonna see the talent gap on the fields pinch a little bit. Now, that's not saying I think these guys are going to come out and be world burners. I definitely still think the Alabamas, the Georgias, and the Texases, all these, they're still going to continue to be the cream of the crop programs. But I think if the question is saying who does it help a little bit more, I think the answer has got to be, like the teams like the Nebraskas and these teams who have fallen off a little bit. That's my hope, at least. I'm really hoping that's kind of how the cards play out.
I love it. Derek, you might need to wake up earlier, buddy, to get rock and rolling. You've been yawning the entire show, and it's starting to show. Cowboy Ty, what do you got for me, fella?
I think it also makes it a lot tighter, and the reason I think it makes it tighter is because one of these big recruits decides, hey, I want to go here, I want to go to Nebraska or whatever, but like that's just too much money down here in the South. I'm going to the South. Now they might just stay at Nebraska or someplace like that. So like I think it evens the playing field in a way that you're going to get more recruits that are higher going to the smaller of the schools than like the Texases or the Alabamas or the Georgias or whatever. So to me, I know it really helps Florida State because nobody wants to come to our school right now. So once again, like I mean, it's going to help us in the long run for sure.
Yeah, you really lost me on that second one there. Jason, hit me, big guy.
Not happening. It's gonna just because they have their little salary cap with this revenue share, it has nothing to do with NIL. As we have seen, the NCAA has lost every freaking time that they've had anything to do with NIL. That is only going to benefit the biggest programs with the biggest pockets, which means that it stays separated. There's levels to this shit. There's always been levels to this shit. There will always be levels to this shit. It's never going to be this is not the NFL. It's not going to be the NFL. They don't want it to be the NFL. So let's not get it twisted, guys. That's not going to be what happens.
Jason said, I got time today. Boy, he said Blaze Hayes ain't here. Jay Crane ain't gonna talk me off this pedestal. I got whiteboards. I got time. What do you need? I'm dialed. And he goes last and drops the hammer. Look, I think there's some great points of it bringing things closer together. I love your guys' points of like the Nebraskas. These teams that were fighting for and clawing for recruits could have the opportunity to reel somebody in and I think pinch that gap. And look, I think what you said, Derek, is that you're still going to have your Bamas and your Georgias and your Ohio States and Ducks. But what we saw last week with the Vandies, with the Arkansas, those upsets will be more likely to happen, more likely to occur because these games will be as big as blowouts. And I think that will be great for college football. But yes, I think the rich will still get richer. Great stuff there, boys and girls. All right, last one. This is a fun one. I'm dialed up for this one. This one's mayhem. All right, boys. Cowboy Ty, you're going to be first on this one. So let's get rocking and rolling. So Bama goes down to Vandy, and Alabama faithful loses it. We got guys throwing fits on the football field, and they don't point to play calling. They don't point to, not being able to have enough dog in you for the fact. No. They point to what DeBoer is wearing. No polos, T-shirts untucked. There's lack of discipline, lack of accountability. DeBoer shows up on Monday, but damn near suit and tie polo, ready to rock and roll. My question for you is, everybody, the panel, did Kalen DeBoer fold too early? Is this a cowardly move to basically just hand everything back over to show you are not in charge? Or was this a good play to go, hey, let me get the dogs off my back. They're right. Let me tuck my shirt in. What are we doing here? Ty?
I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't have an answer for this. This is like the craziest question. I don't think it was. I honestly don't think it is the right play. Like, I mean, Kalen's out there. You just lost to Vandy. I'm probably showing up, probably going to look the best I can possibly look. I don't know. I can tell you the fans don't want to see you looking like a slob because your team just looked like a damn slob. I mean, and your team's out there kicking footballs from the other team when they're about to take a knee. I mean, I don't know. To me, tuck your shirt in, you look like a jackass.
I feel like I should add a point for me because I got him in such a fluster with the question.
I didn't expect that question. I'm like, what's going on right now?
Jason, go ahead, baby.
My God, if what do you think Nick Saban would have said about what his shirt was whenever he was on the sideline if they would have questioned it? He'd have told him to eat shit. This is the problem. If they're going to have one with Kalen DeBoer, it's that he is caving. Do not be that guy. You do exactly like he does. Come in surly, be pissed off at every question, even if it's about your cat. It doesn't matter. Talk shit to the media at all times, or you will not last in Tuscaloosa. Come on, it's crazy talk.
Got time
You
today,
know,
he
Saban
said.
would have been like,
Got time today. Duck, what do you got for me,
time
big guy?
today.
This is one where, like, first off, I hate Kalen DeBoer. I hate the man. But to be real honest, I
Oh,
think this man should be unapologetically himself. You know what I mean? This man needs to roll up. He's not Nick Saban. He doesn't need to try to be Nick Saban and dress the same. I don't know why you'd want to put yourself in that same category. So to be real honest with you, I don't care if he rolls out there in a pair of sweatpants and a baggy T-shirt, as long as the product he's putting out there on the field is what is up to par. Now, that wasn't necessarily the case, and yeah, the Bama fans are going to eat him alive. But at the same time, like, you got to roll up and you got to be you. You know, you're not Nick Saban. Don't try to be Nick Saban, and your fan base will absolutely eat you alive if you try to be Nick, because you're just not. It will never happen. I'm sorry.
Time. I love it. Look, one thing that I always say about Billy Napier is this guy will get ripped a new one, critiqued, hire an offensive coordinator, get rid of Rob Sell, do this, do that. The guy will not budge, okay? The guy will die on that hill. Now, it may lose him his job, but I always give him credit of, like, when you're a head coach, you just can't move with the wind, because when someone blows this way, go that way, right? It also shows if you're Kalen DeBoer, you're listening too much to the nonsense. Why are you changing clothes? That's not what wins football games. Yes.
Nah, bro, have a pair of balls. Yeah.
It's the rat poison. I lost all respect. I would have more respect. He comes out there with no T-shirt. He goes, if you would have come out there and goes, guys, we got our asses kicked by Vandy, and you're concerned because I'm wearing a T-shirt on the sideline because it's 95 fucking degrees outside, and I'm trying to be comfortable, cool, calm, and collected in the middle of this damn football game and not be all tight and shit. Nick Saban's 95 years old. That guy doesn't own a T-shirt. That's why he wears polos. That's what he should have said, right? You're Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. This isn't Washington, okay? No soft-ass kind of West Coast state, right? This is the real dude down here in the South. Lock it in, boys. Lock it in. Let me down. Hey, let me down. Let me down.
Have you seen the Alabama fan base? I don't care. They think about what he's wearing. I mean,
No. They
care.
unloaded. That was their entire preface for every topic for Alabama football that was immediately what they went to, because they correlated it with lack of accountability, lack of structure, doesn't take it seriously. Like, that's where it all went to. But Jason, you were the man today, finally on top, whiteboard in hand. I basically had two Jasons. Derek just said what Jason said, and Cowboy Ty just lost it there at the end there. But Jason,
I had no response. I didn't even know what to say.
Jason, give me your juice for today, buddy.
Hey, man, I'll just say again, man, I'm excited to be headed to the Cotton Bowl to be checking out this game. It's going to be great. You know, this is one of those rivalries that you really don't know what's going to happen any year. There's been times that Oklahoma came in undefeated and they had 3 or 4 losses coming in, and Texas won. So you really don't know what's going to happen. I do feel like OU has a great chance here. Their defense is going to shut down the run, make them one-dimensional. I'm excited about the game, man. It's always great to go to the Red River Shootout. And it ain't the rivalry. It's the shootout, folks. Come on. It's the Red River Shootout. Come on. But it's going to be a great time. You got half the stadium is in crimson. The other half is in burnt orange. There's nothing like it. You folks, if you haven't been to one of these things, you should definitely try it. It's awesome.
I love it. Tell them where they can give you a fine.
Real quick.
Oh. Sark
orders cheeseburgers at Mexican restaurants, and it's 10:15 a.m. and Texas still sucks.
The whiteboard's on point today. Where can they find you at, Jason?
You can find me at Hall of Fame College Football. It's at HOF-CFB right here on YouTube, or you can find me at JW_HOF on Twitter. Thanks a lot for having me on again. Finally a win.
Yes, sir.
I don't have to hate you anymore.
I appreciate you coming on as always, man, and being a good sport. Cowboy Ty, are you still on the edge of that bridge, or have you stepped off the ledge?
No. I've watched all the highlights I could handle from last week, and I drank a little more last night. And Now you can just find me here on Hot Top Sports, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Do you have a black eye? Is that why we're worried?
No, I was just hiding my face from the Gainesville crowd.
He would just open up and it would just be bludgeoned. All right, Derek and Doug, where can they find you, sweet thing?
Yeah, both on X and YouTube. You can find me at High Top Oregon. You know, I get to be part of this shit show channel, you know, every so often. So yeah, be sure to check us out. You know, we're a little more mild, but you know, you'll see me around.
Holy shit. That's no way to talk to your boss. All right. You guys were fantastic as always. Hell of a show this beautiful Saturday. Again, a great slate of games. I keep saying it because we get it. We're spoiled. We are spoiled rotten. And this is, I told you, it was lining up to be one of the greatest college football seasons we've had in a very long time. And it has not disappointed 6 weeks in. We're heading into week 7 today. Be sure to smash the like button. Hope you guys enjoyed today's content. I know that I did. Go give all those young men, except Jason, he's old as hell, a follow. Boys and girls, this show is brought to you by BetUS. We'll see you boys in the next one. Peace and love, baby.